There we go.
Hello, people. Welcome to Marriage Mondays with Nick and Trina Brinson. Tonight we're on location because we had some other stuff we had going on, so we're doing it from my truck. So welcome tonight as we give you some information that will hopefully strengthen your relationship in with yourself and with the Lord. And we just want to say that as we come in tonight. So welcome to Marriage Mondays.
Help us out. Go ahead and share. We're giving time for people to start coming in, hopefully. Go ahead and share if you will. We're a little bit limited with our technology and our current situation. So we're not able to share as quickly as we normally would. So we do ask for your help with that, getting the word out, and encouraging others to join in the conversation. We're talking about marriage being for mature people, and we certainly want to get that message out. It's a chance for you to have a self-check, for you to see if you actually fall into that category of maturity, of being a person who is mature enough for marriage. Marriage absolutely requires maturity, and a lot of people who get married maybe aren't as mature at the beginning. Some of those lessons have to be learned along the way, but we want to tonight to provide a self-check for you. For those of you, we're hoping some folks will start joining in.
Right.
We're about 3 minutes in, 2 or 3 minutes in. So we'll give a little bit of time for some folks to start joining us. Do you want to maybe tag some folks, or can you? Yeah, maybe tag some folks. Get us going here. Most of you know that we represent our church ministry, which is Crown Kingdom Cultural Center. We are located in North Augusta, South Carolina. We do have in-person service every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. And we invite you to come on out. There's Trey Smith coming in, getting this thing started. Thank you, sir. We're having a little bit of a slow start today, so we're trying to tag some folks to get people on board before we really get into the lesson. It's a good lesson. I hope we can get through it all. We do have quite a few more points. We usually try to do maybe 5 or 6 points, but we have as many as 10 tonight. So if we don't get through it all, we may address it later. But as I was saying, we invite you guys to join us in our regular church service on Sundays at 10 a.m. You're welcome to come out. We do ask that you wear masks. We want to keep everybody clear of COVID. So we do have some folks joining in and sharing. So we want to, but we would love for you guys to come out. Some of you that haven't been out to our church before. Our pastor is Bishop Finest Bush Jr., and his wife is Denise Bush, and they are a powerful team that leads our church congregation, and we are very thankful for them. They have poured into this marriage ministry extensively. And so we are here just to continue that, to help people, to encourage relationships, to encourage people who are thinking about relationships, people who are actively dating. We're hoping to give you skills that will help you build healthy relationships that may actually lead to marriage. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing today. And I really think today's lesson is a really good one for both couples who are dating, as well as for couples who are thinking about dating, and for couples who are already married.
Yep.
It's a self-check.
It is a self-check tonight.
Marriage is for mature people.
And actually, we've done some discussion ourselves while we've been going over this topic. And, it's a self-check thing, and we are having to address things that we need to address in our own marriage, because we come to y'all with some of the same issues.
Oh yeah.
And we still are creating and getting better in the marriage relationship. So all the information we give you is just not for you; it's for us too.
Yeah.
So we just want to be straight up and honest about that. It's always a developing process. It's marriage.
Well, these points that we'll cover tonight are good pieces for conversation, for some honest conversation. As a self-check, I really think that's what it boils down to, is for you to take these points that we'll cover tonight and to look at yourself and look at your marriage. Certainly not to point the finger at your spouse, but, check yourself. Allow your spouse to check themselves, and just see where you have room to grow. Let this be a conversation that will identify some areas in which you see you need to grow. If you're not in a relationship yet, let this be an area where that let this conversation guide you to some areas where you see that you can kind of strengthen and shore up in light of thinking about moving towards relationship with someone else. So that's what we're hoping tonight's lesson will be about. So let's find out what it takes to have maturity in marriage.
All right, let's go. One of the first subtopics we're going to talk about is, as an individual in a mature marriage, accept responsibility for your behavior and your self-esteem. Do not blame your spouse for your happiness to make you happy. Don't blame your spouse for your happiness. Don't rely on them to make you happy, is basically what I'm saying. So with that said, just make sure that you're doing stuff that's going to make you have joy in your marriage and happiness, and do things that satisfy the marriage, but also do things that help satisfy yourself. Hey, mommy, how are you?
So if you're going into a marriage thinking that this marriage is what it will take to make your life happy, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, and you're setting your spouse up for something that they should not be responsible for doing for you. It is not your spouse's job to make you happy. It's not your spouse's job to be the keeper and caretaker of your self-esteem. You have to be able to, hey Sheena, you have to be able to take care of your own health, your own emotional health,
you do.
and understand your own self-worth. It's not something, a lot of people go into marriage and they have lots of issues related to self-esteem and self-worth. And so what we are encouraging you is to own that for yourself. Don't count on your spouse to be your source of worthiness, or your source of feeling like you are like you're only of value because of your being chosen by your spouse. But you don't want that to be the case. You want to take care of your own understand your own self-worth beyond your spouse. Your spouse, you want to bring a healthy whole adult into the marriage.
Right.
And so understand that you are worthy whether you're married or not. Being married is not what validates you. Being married is not what gives you self-worth. Choose yourself. It doesn't have to be that you wait for someone to choose you. Choose yourself, and choose to find ways to fulfill yourself from the inside. Make yourself happy.
Exactly.
No one else can truly make you happy.
Nope.
You have to find what makes you happy whether you're married or not.
All right.
And that makes the marriage stronger.
It makes it better. It sure does. Next, mature marriage is identify and align your personal and marriage goals. For instance, this is one I was thinking about. Now, we just finished talking about, we're not responsible for making each other happy. But I can do stuff to try to make you happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That should be a goal, to do things that let your partner know that you are actively trying to help out in their happiness. One way to do that is find out what their love language is. And by addressing the love language, you share in their happiness.
Right.
But you're not responsible for that happiness. Just share in it. And, if they get some pleasure out of what you're doing, that causes happiness. Yeah.
And it's easier for you to bring joy and value to your spouse when you already have that from the inside. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 3. Another point. with bringing that same happiness, and then the third point is encourage each other.
Yeah.
You have to be an encourager of each other. Whatever their interests are and whatever they're doing, or they're trying to do something, like for instance, my wife is encouraging me in my me going back to school. She asked me how my classes, and what am I doing, or how is it going, and she's like, okay, you my big man, you got it done sometime. I'm like,
big man?
You call me a big man sometime. My big guy. How do you say?
I don't know.
You say something like that.
I don't know. Go ahead. Maybe that's how
Maybe
you hear
not.
it.
But yeah, no, you do. But anyway, she's like, you my big guy, so you go ahead and do it. Just like when we was in California, you encouraged me to shoot the baskets.
Oh my God.
That was a happy moment.
It was.
Okay. So, help encourage each other to do things that they want to do. What do y'all say about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to run through my head where you pulling this from. So, encouraging someone else. Exactly. And I will say, for us, even with you, working on another degree and all, a less mature person might even be jealous. As in, well, why do you get to work on a degree? Maybe I want another degree too. Why is it why you do it? Can't we both do it? Why are you doing it and I'm not? Can't we keep this thing equal? And that's not really what it's about. It's about cheering your spouse on, being happy, choosing to encourage, understanding that sometimes you take turns with things of that nature, or, and that goes to aligning your goals, your individual goals, with the marriage goals. I think we covered that point too. Is that the one we're on? Yeah. And so it's very important for you as a team we as a team decided, that he would go on back to school. I've been talking about going back to school forever, but hadn't made a move for probably the last 5 to 7 years. That's all I've done is talked about it. Because I just have been hesitating on it. But we talked about it and we decided and agreed upon it, and talked about paying for it, talked about managing time. So it's a goal. It's his personal career goal, but it is a goal that enhances our marriage as well.
Definitely. All right, number 4, communicate your feelings with honesty and openness. When we've done a class on communication, a whole class, and that's primarily what that class was about. Learn how to communicate your feelings openly and honestly. With that being said, and we've talked about situations where people close themselves and don't communicate openly, and they feel like they're not getting the satisfaction in the marriage that they need.
Right.
But if you do that with open and honesty, everybody is going to feel fulfilled in the marriage somehow, in some way. You will get your needs met by being honest. If you don't like certain things, address that. Like we've talked about also in the last couple of weeks and months. People mature in their marriages. As you grow older, you mature. Things do change. So you got to be open and honest when those things do change. So that's all I have to say.
And keep talking. Keep talking, because people do change over time, and you want that change to not be a big surprise, but for it to be anticipated and for you both to be a part of those changes. And so that's how people grow apart. It's not communicating openly and honestly and really sharing their heart with their spouse. You have to take the risk of being vulnerable with your spouse, because that's what's necessary for the two of you to grow together. You have to get your needs met inside of that relationship, because what happens is otherwise people start to look outside of the relationship for getting their needs met. So you want to be able to have a relationship to where you can truly say, what you feel, and for each of you to be a safe space with each other. And it takes maturity to do that, so that when your spouse makes a decision or has a thought that doesn't necessarily gel with yours right away, it takes maturity to be able to respect that decision, and to understand that your spouse don't have to, you may not always start out with the same idea or with the same thought, but that's where you work together to resolve those differences between you so that you can come to an agreement. But there's a process that it takes to get to that point of agreement. But it's okay for you to start out on different pages. You just have to work to get into that place of unity.
Agreement.
And it takes some skills to do that. But you don't want to have to be afraid to bring something up to your spouse that seems kind of out of the blue or way out in left field. You want your relationship with your spouse to be such that you feel safe enough to kind of go out on a limb and say something crazy, and the two of you work it out. Sometimes you got to pull each other back. Sometimes you know, I got to step out there with you and help you, you know, get to where you're going. So.
All right. Another point tonight is listen empathetically when feelings are expressed, and that goes along with the communication that we just talked about.
And vulnerability.
Learn to listen. I go back to when I was coaching and was not in administration, and I always brought home to my house a tired ear, if that makes any sense. I had heard so much talking from teachers, from kids, from people that I was dealing with on the phone, vendors, whoever, other coaches, you know, and I brought home a tired ear, and she didn't deserve that. So, you know, I would listen a little bit, and then I would go on what I thought she said, and sometimes it was just wrong. It was just wrong. Tired ear. Yes, ma'am.
Interesting.
Well, you know, that's the maturity in all this. But now that I'm in administration, I don't deal with as many people on a daily basis. So now I'm able to listen a little bit better, a lot better. I can actually hear what she's saying to me. It's a good thing.
Without going to sleep.
Yeah.
Because that's what it used to look like to me.
Yeah, I was tired. It's the truth.
But you've grown past that. And the fact that you can verbalize it says a lot too.
That's the maturity, y'all. That's it.
Thank God for growth.
It is. She deserves more than a tired ear. Right?
I do. I do. And you do too. It goes both ways too.
But I don't talk much anyway. I'm not a talker.
No. It depends.
On what we're talking about.
But no, it depends on who you're talking to. Because sometimes you're very chatty. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on. Like Bird and Man, let's move on. Thank you, Latasha. I saw your comment.
Amen for growth. Yes. The 6th point is seek to understand the factors that influence your relationship. Seek factors and understand those factors that influence your relationship. We've talked about that in the last 2 months.
We have.
Factors that influence your relationship. What are you letting influence your relationship?
Right.
Is it the media that you listen to? Is it the Facebook, the TikToks, the other people
family members?
Yeah, family members. Who are you letting influence
what
your
read.
marriage?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that go in that have access to your mind, and sometimes those things can have a negative impact on your relationship. So it's important to be cognizant of that so that you are on top of your thought life. Because what you think about your spouse a lot of times plays more in your decision making than what you say about your spouse or what they say about you. It's what happens in your thought life.
Right.
So you have to stay on top of that and keep that, kind of clean that out so that you control and intentionally think on the things that are positive, those things that are praiseworthy. Just like Philippians 4, basically, things that are good, noble, praiseworthy. Those are the things you want to focus on with your spouse as well, because if you're only thinking about the things that are negative and the traits about them that you don't like, you're going to get more of what you're thinking of. And your behavior will be based on those negative things instead of you choosing to think of your spouse in a positive light and build them up in faith. Right. So that not only do your thoughts match up with where they're going in faith and where you desire for them to be based upon what God has for them, but also your words, the words that you speak, the way you speak to your spouse, all of that will line up in faith versus you concentrating on those negative thoughts and you constantly trying to suppress and kind of mumbling those things that are negative. You just give more life to what you don't want.
To what you do not want.
Yeah, and then you become a bigger part of the problem than the person themselves. because you're giving legs and feet to those negative traits that you don't want. So even in your private thoughts about your spouse, you got to be a champion for them, or encouraging them and expecting more.
All right.
What number are we on?
Number 7. Mature marriages. That's what we're talking about tonight, people. Signs of a mature marriage.
Yeah, because marriage is for mature people.
Mm-hmm. And another thing you can do is learn to value each other. Show that the other person is a value to you. Like right now, there is nobody that I deal with more important than my wife.
Well, that's very sweet.
I mean, you didn't know that, did
you? Yeah.
Okay. I don't want them to seem like this is
it's not
brand
news
new
to me, but I'm just acknowledging your verbal affirmation of that.
Yes. And her opinion and what she thinks does matter to me. Do I always go along? I don't Facebook.
And I will say that has not always been the case. I have not always felt that my opinion was
right.
And I think I was probably justified in that thinking. But it took some growth and maturity for both of us to get to a point to where we both really truly have to acknowledge each other at that level of importance and priority.
Right. And I do believe that, what it says, when you leave, you cleave. You leave and cleave to one another. You become one. Mm-hmm. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And I wholeheartedly believe that, because when I left my mother's house or my family's surroundings, you became the number one person in my life.
Right.
So I just wholeheartedly believe that. And if you treat your marriage that way, the things that y'all go through them together, and you'll learn how to figure it out and do and show that each other is valuable to one another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, that's good.
That's good. Okay. Number 8. Thoughts, words, and actions that support positive goals for your marriage. We basically explained that. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions. It needs to show the other person that they're valuable to you. Like she said, we were talking earlier about body language, and my body language towards her can reflect whether I'm trying to love her today or I'm trying not to love her. I could be like, I love you. That's not showing that I love her by getting away from her. Your body actions and your actions can tell the difference. And you want to talk about the conversation we were having before we got on Facebook tonight?
Sure.
About our conversation?
Sure.
I opened it up, Facebook. I know.
You did. You put it out there. So the issue is that when we are having a conversation, the two of us, and we're exchanging ideas or giving our opinions about whatever the situation is at hand. So when I am confronted with arms folded like so, which is what I get a lot, I was just communicating that it takes a level of maturity to receive that. I don't want to call it criticism, but it is a preference for me if your body language indicates that you're open to what I'm saying. And to me, having your hands folded and, kind of your chin up and your eyes closed, because he'll even close his eyes.
I will close my eyes.
Mm-hmm. But what does that communicate?
Well, hold on now.
I don't want you to try to defend yourself. I want you to make my point. See what I'm doing? What you just did right there. You closed your eyes and you turned your head away.
See, here's the deal.
Which indicates that you are not listening.
But I am.
But the body language, though.
It's the body language. And I'm going to work on that. Like I say, I'm not all the way delivered from my coaching. Because when I'm in a conversation and I'm trying to deal in a positive way, this is how I do it. And it does look mean and like I'm not.
See, when you look at that camera, you see yourself, you see what I see.
It does look a little mean.
Don't it, though?
But I'm accepting you're responsible.
And the frown right there in the middle.
I'm accepting what you're saying to me, though.
Okay. I just want you to see
I need to be open.
That camera is very revealing,
isn't it? It is. I see the snout.
So do you understand now why I frequently tell you that I'm not talking to you if that's the posture that you're going to give me, because you're not open to receive what I'm saying?
But I'm listening, and I'm open to receive.
Okay, can we eliminate the but?
Okay.
So this is information for you to understand where I'm coming from.
And this is information for y'all too, how we going through this right here. But this is for us.
You're deflecting.
I'm helping the people too.
Mm-hmm. So what do I need from you?
You need for me to be open to you and not fold my arms and look like I'm finna bite your head off if you say the wrong thing.
Because that would lead us down a bad road. Because I don't respond too well to that.
So I'll try not to fold my own people.
So we're working on it. We're working on it.
But that coach come out in me and be like, "Oh, that's what we're talking about. We finna do it like that."
Your face do not be that friendly. You trying to make it okay, and it is so not okay. But that's okay. I appreciate your willingness to hear what I'm saying and to make some changes and adjustments. I've made quite a few changes and adjustments over the years as well, have I not?
Yeah, that tongue.
Such as?
That tongue has dulled out some, y'all. She used to have a sharp tongue. Bullets, baby. Like a machine gun.
It's a gift.
You said it's a gift. For who? It wasn't for this marriage.
No, it was very counterproductive.
It was not for this marriage. But that's where we've grown from. That's where we are and where we've come from. And we're still growing.
And maturing.
Let me tell y'all, we are definitely maturing in this marriage. So,
what number we on?
I think we're on number 8.
9?
Number 9. Yes, number 9. Solve marital conflicts together. And we've done a lot of that. We saw the need to get some help when we needed it. And you seek help where you need it in your marriage. Like we've received help from the bishop. And
we've done other counseling as well.
Counseling.
We've had marriage mentors. The Pastor Ted and Evelyn Smith poured into us a lot as well. So we have definitely, and I've talked with family members on your side with Mima, and I imagine you've probably had some conversation on that side of family as well.
Yes.
As well as with my parents. So we definitely have chosen. It's not a large group, but we've had people supporting us through the years, and that's very important.
Very, very, very important. And commit as a mature married couple or a maturing married couple, commit to the ongoing process of maturity.
Yes.
Commit to the ongoing process of maturity. Because we've stated earlier, this process does continue to change as you get older, as you bring children into the relationship, as you get more to a retirement age.
Yeah.
It's
life is full
I ain't
of
gonna
those
say it's day to day, but it's definitely year to year.
It's stage to stage.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you go from we had a stage in life when we were dating, a stage of life when we were in our early married years with no kids, adjusting to professional careers. You had a stage where we, started having kids and one kid and add another. And I mean, you have different phases, and then your kids grow, and that puts you in different stages of life as well. So, and through all of that, you still have to take care of your marriage as a top priority. It's high up there on the list. You take care of your relationship with God, and your marriage is right there.
It is.
Right there. You have to take care of it. And if you neglect your marriage, it will show. It will show. If you don't take the time to work on your marriage together, it will show.
Right.
It will definitely show. And you can't control your spouse as far as how much your spouse is involved in working towards the marriage, but what you can do is to do your part. And very often you may see changes on the part of your spouse when you show changes on your part. You can't control somebody else, but you can make yourself the best person that you can be, and that alone strengthens your marriage when you bring a stronger you to the relationship. Right. Can't say it'll save it, but that certainly puts you in a stronger position. And that's always important, whether you're married or single. You want to constantly be committed to your personal growth but to also be committed to the growth of your marriage relationship. That never ends. You want to always take care of your marriage.
Right. So, we went through all 10 points.
We did. That was pretty good. It's 7:31.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that are on tonight, share this link with people, or share the program on your Facebook page. So the information we give is open and it's free. And we tend to think it's information given from God, and He downloaded it to us so we can give to you. And with that said, we want to talk about our marriage conference we got coming up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to?
Oh, I can't. Yeah. Well, I just noticed there was somebody, Greg Moss, that looked like a new neighbor. He was saying hello to you.
Oh yeah, that's one of the guys I coach back when I was in Thompson, my first 10 years. Hey, Greg, how you doing, son?
Well, they grow up, don't they?
Yes, they do.
All right, so the marriage conference. We will have our first marriage conference that we've had in a while with all the changes going on in the world. So, of course, it'll be virtual. We will be meeting, the first night is Thursday, September the 30th. Yeah. We will be meeting at in the sanctuary, as well as airing it virtually. We do encourage you to come out for that Thursday night. For that service, that'll be the foundation for the rest of the lessons and the things that we'll cover. So that'll be Thursday night, 7 p.m., September the 30th at Crown Kingdom Cultural Center, 720 Old Edgefield Road in North Augusta, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And that next night on Friday, we will have another service that it's not a service, but it'll be more of a panel discussion to where we'll have some conversation around the content that we will have covered that first night. And then that'll be 7 o'clock as well. Of course, it'll be aired virtually, and if you want to come out to the sanctuary, put your mask and come on, you're welcome. And Saturday morning, we'll have activities for you Saturday morning from 10 to 12. We do encourage you guys to tune in live. We know by and large, most of the people that watch it as a recorded Facebook event, but we really do want you guys to come on live and show up during the this marriage conference. So we encourage you to mark your calendars, so we'll mention it next week as well. But we want you to participate. So if you'll just mark off that time and participate with us, we will in some way be able to do some question and answers, and we want you to be involved. So spread the word, mark your calendar, plan to join us virtually, and I think that's pretty much it for tonight.
It is. All right. Just want to thank the new people that came on tonight that are sharing this. Coach Wilder Jackson, now in Lincoln County, coaching the girls basketball team. And that's one thing I want to say. A lot of my coaching connections from the kids that I've coached over the years are now married or have mature relationships that they're dealing with, and mature marriages that they're dealing with children and careers. This is giving me the platform to also continue to coach them in a different kind of way.
That's why
and I just love it. I love it, y'all.
Hence the name that you came up with.
I love it.
The lady and the coach. So that's where that came from. So I think in his heart, he just always is going to be a coach. So we appreciate y'all letting us.
The dates again are
September 30th, at October 1st at 7. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And Saturday, October 2nd from 10 to 12.
Yep.
10 to 12.
You got that, Coach Wilder Jackson?
Somebody wants to type that in, that will be helpful. If not, we'll make sure to get it in the maybe in the title the next time. Right. We'll type it in the post.
So with that said, we appreciate y'all joining us tonight. We are very appreciative to you for giving us these 30 minutes of your time on Monday night. And we do not take that for granted. I know that's an old church saying, but the lady and the coach does not take it for granted.
Right.
So we want to just say we love you from the lady and the coach. Bye-bye.
All right, give a minute. She was typing it in. Yeah, I want to let her finish typing it. Sheena has some fast fingers.
Yes, she does.
Yes, so we respect that.
I count on you, Sheena, in church sometime when Bishop.
I know, right? Between her and Rhonda.
Yes, sir.
Yep, I try to do it sometimes when I can focus 100%. Thank y'all so much. We love y'all, and thank you, Sheena. Y'all have a good night.